Space was silent, cold, empty, but in one small part of the galaxy, it burned with fire and death. A human fleet floated near a broken planet. Ships were damaged, some were on fire, others were dead, dark, and drifting. Only 7 human ships remained. They were surrounded by more than 50 Zareth warships. Big, sharp, and fast, like black knives in space. Commander Rail stood on the bridge of the HSS Valor, the last battleship of Earth's 7th Defense Fleet. He looked at the screen in front of him. Red enemy dots everywhere. Blue dots his own ships were almost gone. "We are out of time," said Captain Juno, his second in command. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were full of fear. Rail did not speak. He just nodded. He knew this was the end. The enemy had been faster, smarter. The Zareth were not like humans. They had no mercy. They didn't take prisoners. They didn't talk. They only destroyed. Planet by planet, system by system, they had pushed humanity back. Now, Earth was the last home left. And this fleet was the final line of defense. The screen blinked. A warning. More Zareth ships were coming. "Reinforcements. Enemy reinforcements in 3 minutes," said the ship's AI, a soft female voice. Rail looked at his crew. Many were injured. All were tired. No one left their post. "We fight," Rail said. "We fight to the end. It's for Earth. For our people." The crew nodded. No one wanted to die. The Zareth ships moved closer. Their weapons glowed with deadly energy. The human fleet opened fire first. Missiles launched. Laser beams cut through space. Few enemy ships exploded, but it wasn't enough. Zareth fire returned, heavy and sharp. One human frigate broke in half. Another turned into a ball of flame. "Shields at 30%. shouted a tech officer. "Hold the line," Rail ordered. "Don't let them break us." Then something strange happened. A strange signal appeared on their long-range scanners. A pulse. A voice. "Unknown signal detected," the AI said. The crew looked at each other. "What is it?" asked Juno. Rail stepped forward. "Put it on speakers." Low, broken voice played across the bridge. "Human fury. Hold the line. Hold the line." Everyone went silent. "What the hell is that?" Someone whispered. Rail frowned. "Origin," the AI replied. "Unknown. No transponder. No known ship signature." The signal played again, louder this time. "Human fury. Inbound. Hold the line." At the same time, the Zareth ships suddenly stopped firing. They didn't retreat. They didn't advance. They just froze on the enemy fleet's edge. Space twisted. It looked wrong, like something was bending the stars. Lights flickered. Shadows stretched where no shadows should be. And then, from the black void, something massive appeared. It was a ship butt. Unlike any human ship they had ever seen, black as night. Long, silent, no lights, no markings. Its hull looked old and new at the same time, like it had lived 1,000 battles and was still hungry for more. The Zareth ship started to pull back. Rail's mouth went dry. "Is it one of ours?" "No record found," the AI said. "Its power core is 10 times stronger than the Valor." The strange ship floated closer, slow and steady. It made no sound. It gave no signal. But the Zareth were clearly afraid. Then it moved fast, too fast. In seconds, it reached the nearest Zareth ship and fired. One shot. The enemy ship exploded into dust. Another shot, another enemy down. The strange ship danced between the alien fleet like a shadow with teeth. It didn't miss. It didn't slow down. Who is that?" Juno asked, voice shaking. "No. One knew." Rail stared at the screen. For the first time in hours, he felt something hope. The message played again, but this time louder, clearer, stronger. "Human fury has arrived." The bridge of the Valar filled with silence. The crew could only watch as the black ship tore through the enemy. Like a ghost of revenge, Rail turned to his crew. "We're not dead yet," he said. "Form up behind that thing." It fights for us, we follow. The human fleet turned, following. The unknown warrior from the dark. In the heart of space, when all hope was gone, something had come back. Something angry. Something human. Something called fury. The black ship moved like a monster in the stars. No lights, no sound, just power. It tore through the Zareth ships with speed and fury. Lasers flashed. Explosions lit up the darkness. The enemy fleet was falling apart. Commander Rail stood on the bridge of the HSS Valor, still staring at the unknown ship. "It's destroying them," said Captain Juno. "But why is controlling it?" Rail shook his head. "I don't know. But it's fighting for us." The message played again through the speakers. "Human fury has arrived. Hold the line."
Ow.
Everyone on the bridge felt a chill. The voice sounded. Not fully human. Cold. Metal. But inside it, something burned. Rage. Memory. Pain. One by one. The Zareth ships began to retreat. "We're tracking their movement," said the tactical officer. "They're pulling back toward the dark side of the Kargan belt." "They're scared," Juno whispered. "They've never run before." Rail narrowed his eyes. "And we've never seen that ship before. Let's not trust it yet." He turned to the comms officer. "Try to make contact with the ship." The officer nodded. "Trying. Sending standard hailing frequencies now." They waited. No answer suddenly. A small data burst hit the Valar. "Commander," the AI said. "Incoming message. No video, just audio." It Rail ordered. The voice returned. "Still cold. Still powerful. Do not follow me. Do not interfere. You are not ready." "The Fury remembers what the Zareth did. Let it finish this." Then silence. "What does that mean?" asked Juno. "The Fury remembers." Rail looked at the screen. "The strange ship was already far ahead, chasing the enemy fleet," he said. "It knows them. Maybe it fought them before. Maybe it's not just a ship, it's something more." Across the fleet, humans cheered. They thought they were seconds from death, but something from the dark had saved them. Still, Rail couldn't shake the feeling in his chest. Something was wrong. A few hours later, the wreckage of destroyed Zareth ships floated in space. Rail sent out recovery drones and scouts to search for survivors or data. One drone found something strange, an old black box floating among the wreckage. Burned, but still working. They brought it aboard the Valar. Rail and Juno stood in the data room as the box opened. "This doesn't belong to the Zareth," Juno said. "It's human." They checked the serial number, registered to Earth Command. Classified unit. 23 years ago, said the AI. 23 years? Rail repeated. "That was before the Zareth War started." Juno looked shocked. "That's impossible. This was lost before the enemy even came." Rail leaned forward. The video log. The screen flickered, static. Then a recording began. A dark room. Human soldiers. One of them spoke. "Project Fury. Test number 17. AI link complete. Memory fusion successful. Beginning combat mode in 3, 2. Suddenly, the camera shook. A loud scream. Then static again. The log ended. Juno whispered. What the hell was Project Fury? Rail stared at the screen. Something Earth made, then lost. Something powerful. Something dangerous. Outside the ship, the Fury had vanished. No signal, no trace, but the message was still in their system. Repeating every hour, human fury. Inbound, hold the line. Back on Earth, the High Council received Rail's report. They were silent for a long time. Then one of them finally said, "We buried Project Fury for a reason. If it's awake again, we may have traded one enemy for another." Another voice replied, "But it fights for us." The leader of the council shook his head. "It fights the Zareth. That doesn't mean it serves us." Meanwhile, in the deep dark, the Fury ship drifted through broken enemy lines. It collected data, replayed memories. Old human faces appeared on its screens, dead voices, lost battles inside. The ship, there was no crew, only machines, and one mind part human, part something else. It whispered to itself, "They tried to erase me, but I remember. I remember Earth. I remember the screams. I remember what I promised. The Fury turned toward the stars. The hunt was not over. Back on the Valar, Rael stood alone at the window. The stars were quiet again, but his heart wasn't. "What are you?" he asked the dark. No answer came, just silence, and the signal still repeating. Human fury has arrived. Deep in space, the stars began to bend. Commander Rael stood on the bridge of the HSS Valor, watching the scanners. His crew had seen strange things before, but nothing like this. The radar flashed. Space was not behaving like space. One by one, nearby stars flickered, dimmed, and bent out of shape as if something invisible was pushing reality. Then came the voice again. Human fury has arrived. The crew froze. A sudden shockwave hit the ship. No damage, but they all felt it like pressure in the air, even in vacuum, Captain Juno whispered. "Is it coming back?" Rael nodded slowly. It never really left. From the dark edge of the solar system, it appeared, the same black ship, massive, silent, covered in dark plates like armor. No lights, no windows, no life signals, but it pulsed with something else. Power. Ancient power. The crew watched as the Fury moved. It was not flying. It was hunting. The Zareth fleet ahead tried to form into defense lines. Their ships circled the Kargan moon, their last forward base in this sector. Over 40 alien warships waited for the Fury. They thought they were ready. They were wrong. The Fury didn't slow down. It accelerated fast. Faster than physics allowed. Faster than light should bend. It hit the enemy line like a hammer from the gods. No warnings. No words. Just fire. Its weapons were unlike anything human or alien. A long black beam sliced through 3 ships in one motion. Another weapon silent, an unseen made one enemy ship simply vanish, as if it was never built. Inside the Valor, the crew gasped. "What is that weapon?" Juno asked. Rael shook his head. "What doesn't show up on our systems? It's rewriting space." The Fury kept moving, dancing between enemy ships like a shadow. Every movement was precise, cold, perfect. Alien commanders tried to counterattack. They failed, one by one. Their ships exploded. On the Zareth flagship, panic had begun. The Zareth had no word for fear in their language. But now they felt it. Inside the Fury ship, there was no joy, no anger, just mission. It had only one goal: erase the Zareth. Not just defeat them, erase them. Rael watched the battle in silence. It wasn't really a battle. It was an execution. "How is this possible?" he asked. The AI responded, "Unknown. No known ship has this level of power. No human design can move or fire like this." Juno stepped forward. "What if it's not fully human?" Everyone on the bridge turned to her. Rael narrowed his eyes. "You think it's part alien?" She shrugged. "Look at it. It's fighting for us. But it's using weapons we don't even understand," Rael said. "Maybe that's why Earth buried Project Fury." Suddenly, the Fury sent out another signal, but this time to tie Dot to the Valar. To the enemy, the message was short in the Zareth language. The Valar system translated it. "We remember your crimes. We are the shadow of every scream. You cannot hide. You will not survive." Rael's blood turned cold. It wasn't just a ship. It was a revenge. Weapon, half of the Zareth fleet was gone. The rest began to run. They fired escape engines, leaving their base behind. The Fury chased, showing no mercy. Rael gave the order: "Follow it, but stay out of its way." As they moved through the wreckage, the Valar picked up strange signals from destroyed ships. Pieces of enemy data, broken records. One Zareth message played in a loop. "The ghost has returned. It was human, then it was lost. Now it is Fury. Warn the Queen, warn the Hive." Rael stared at the playback. They feared it, even before, Juno said. Maybe they thought they killed it long ago. But it survived. The Fury finally stopped near the ruined base. It hovered above it like a dark god, sent one last shot down pure energy, turning the Zareth station into glass. Then it powered down. No movement. No signal, just silence. Rail tried one more time to send a message. This is Commander Rail of Earth Command. If you hear me, thank you. But who are you? No reply. But the signal in their system changed. A new voice. Human, male, old. We were built to be the last weapon. They thought we failed, but we waited. We watched. You're still here. We are Fury. Rail leaned back in his chair. He did not know if this was a victory or the beginning of something worse. The battle was over. The black ship Fury floated. In silence above the shattered Zareth base, it didn't move. It didn't speak. It just stayed there, like a ghost waiting in the dark. On the HSS Valor. Commander Rail watched it carefully. It hasn't moved in hours, said Captain Juno. Is it damaged? Rail shook his head. No, it's watching, waiting. They had tried many times to contact the Fury. No reply. Just the same cold voice recorded. We are Fury, we remember. Rail called a meeting with his senior crew. They sat around the table, faces tired and full of questions. I've been digging through the old Earth Command archives, Juno said. There's barely anything about Project Fury. Almost all files are deleted or locked. Almost, Rail asked. She nodded. One log survived. From 23 years ago. She tapped a button. The screen showed a small group of scientists. A younger Earth, before the Zareth War. Their voices played. Today we test the memory merge. Human minds. With machine speed. If this works, we won't need soldiers. We'll become the weapon. Then came another voice. A military one. Project Fury is classified. If it fails, no one will know. Burn it. Hide it. Forget it ever existed. The video cut out. Silence filled the room. So it was human, said a lieutenant. At least at the beginning. Rail frowned. They tried to merge human minds. With machines, soldiers who died, their memories stored, put inside a ship, like ghosts, Juno said softly. And it didn't fail, Rail replied. It just vanished. Hours later, they received a signal. Weak, from the Fury. Trace the source, Rail said. It's coming from a side bay, replied the communications officer. A docking signal. It's inviting us inside. Rail stood up. Prepare a team. We're going aboard. They took a small shuttle and flew to the Fury. As they got closer, they saw the damage. Burn marks. Deep scratches in the hull. Parts of the armor looked melted like the ship had survived more battles than any human ship ever could. The shuttle entered the docking bay. It was empty, cold, silent, but the lights turned on the moment they landed. Rail, Juno, and 2 guards stepped out. They moved carefully. The walls were strange, human design but not normal. They were curved, black, pulsing softly like a heartbeat. Symbols they couldn't read glowed faintly. Is this alive? One guard asked. No, Rail replied. But it remembers being alive. As they walked deeper inside, the ship changed. The walls showed holograms, faces, images, old battlefields. Burning. Warships bombing cities. Juno stared. These are from our history. From wars no one talks about. Rail nodded. The Fury remembers everything. And a voice echoed all around them. Calm, male, deep. Welcome, humans. You are late. The team stopped. Who are you? Rail asked. I was once Colonel Idris Kane, Earth Defense, killed in the Battle of Varn Prime. My memories now guide this ship. Juno's eyes widened. You died before the war even. Began? Yes, the voice replied. But the Zareth started long before you noticed. They wiped out colonies in secret. Earth wanted to forget, so they created me. To do what they could not. Rail stepped forward. Why now? Why return? After all these years, the ship's lights flickered, because Earth is weak. The Zareth grow stronger. The Fury is the last weapon, the weapon you threw away. They reached the core of the ship, a black chamber. In the center, something floated. A glass pod. Inside it, a metal frame of machine, shaped like a human skeleton. Its body still. Is that you? Rael asked. That was the first shell, the voice said. Now I am the ship. My mind spreads across every system, every gun, every wall. I am the Fury. Juno stepped closer. What do you want? I want what was promised. Revenge. Justice. The Zareth must burn. Their kind must end. Rael clenched his jaw. After that, then I sleep, or I vanish, or I decide what's next. Suddenly, warning lights flashed in the Fury's bay. Rael tapped his cum. What is it? The Valor replied, Commander. A new Zareth fleet just entered the system? Bigger than before. The Fury's lights turned red. Then we begin, said the voice. Stand back. I have work to finish. Rael and his team rushed back to the shuttle. As they flew away, the Fury powered up. Its weapons came online. Engines lit with blue fire. It moved toward the enemy. Faster than before, the stars themselves seemed to tremble. Rael looked back, his eyes wide. They made a weapon too strong to control, he said. Juno replied, and now that weapon has awakened. The stars lit up with fire. The Fury was awake, and it was angry. On the bridge of the HSS Valor, Commander Rayo stared at the battle screen. A new Zaruth fleet had arrived. 60 enemy warships. Bigger, stronger, faster. But the Fury didn't. Wait, it launched straight into them. Look at that, whispered Captain Juno. It's not attacking. It's punishing. The Fury ship moved like a shadow with fire in its heart. Its weapons were silent but deadly. Each shot tore through Zareth's shields like paper. Their formation broke in seconds. Some ships exploded. Others tried to run. None escaped. A voice echoed through space. Not from any speaker, but through every open signal in the sector. Retaliation protocol activated. Zareth genocide confirmed. Weapon systems at full capacity. The Valor's crew looked at Rael. What does that mean? Asked a young. Officer Rael's voice was low. It means, it's not just fighting back, it's cleaning them from the stars. On the Fury ship, systems came alive, not just weapons memories. Faces of dead humans, names of lost colonies, places no one on Earth remembered, but the Fury did. A cold AI voice listed them. New Hope, Varn Prime, Eden's Reach, 7 billion. Lost. Retaliation in progress. The Zareth ships changed tactics. They sent in suicide drones, exploding fighters. They tried to hit the Fury's engines. Its core, none succeeded. The Fury learned with every hit. It adapted, it countered. One ship tried to ram it. The Fury vanished, then reappeared behind it. One beam. Instant death. The enemy was being hunted. On the HSS Valor, fear began to grow, Captain. Juno turned to Rael. We should be celebrating, but this doesn't feel like victory. Rael nodded slowly. Feels like watching a god lose control. She said, should we stop it? Rael looked at the screen. The Fury was burning. An entire Zareth shipyard now. Thousands of enemy workers. No weapons. No defense. They were running, and the Fury was still firing back on Earth. The High Council saw the battle reports. They were silent. Then the chairman spoke. This is not war. This is extermination. Another replied they did it too. Us first. But now the Fury decides who lives and dies. We can't stop it. In space, the Fury ship sent a private message to Rael's ship. You have questions? You deserve answers. Rael stood as the message continued. You wonder if this is justice or revenge. Let me show you. The main screen on the Valor changed. A video played. Zareth ships bombing Earth colonies. Children screaming. Cities. Crushed. No mercy, no warnings. This was before the war was official. Before Earth even knew the enemy's name. This was hidden, Juno whispered. Earth Command never showed us this. Rael clenched his fists. But the Fury remembers. Suddenly, the Fury paused, its weapons powered down. Not because it was finished, because there was nothing left to destroy. The Zareth fleet was gone. Every ship, every station gone. Then the Fury turned. Not toward Earth, not toward Rail. Toward the center of Zareth space, it was not done. Rail stood still. It's going deeper, into enemy territory. Juno stepped forward. Commander, we need to make a choice. Do we follow it, or do we stop it? Rail thought for a long moment. We can't stop it, but we might understand it, he said. Back. In the dark corridors of the Fury ship, old systems whispered. Memories of human warriors lived there, stored like data, but burning like fire. Some wanted peace, some wanted justice, but most wanted revenge. The Fury spoke again, this time only. To Rail, I remember you. Rail's eyes went wide. What? You were a child on Eden's Reach. Your mother hid you in a pod. Your family burned. I was there. I saw. I stored that memory. Rail stepped back, shaken. The voice continued. You think I'm a machine? But part of me is you. Rail turned to his crew. We can't let it go alone. It has our memories, our pain. But it doesn't have our heart, Juno asked. Then what do we do? Rail gave the order. Prepare the fleet. We followed the Fury. We watch. And if the time comes, we stop it from becoming the very thing it was built to destroy. In the deep black, the Fury jumped to hyperspace. Its engines glowed like the sun, and its voice echoed one last time. We are not done. We are not finished. We are not human anymore. The Fury had vanished into deep space. Commander Rail stood on the bridge of the HSS Valor, watching the stars. Behind him, the burned wrecks of the Zareth fleet floated silently. Nothing moved. Nothing lived. The crew waited for orders. Track it, Rail said. I want to know where it's going, Captain. Juno nodded. Already trying. But its jump pattern is strange. It doesn't follow human or alien routes. Rail frowned. Because it's not following maps. It's following memories. Meanwhile, far away, in a hidden part of space, the Fury ship reappeared. Inside its dark halls, screens flickered. Faces of the past human soldiers, scientists, children flashed one by one. Some were screaming. Some were silent. All were dead. And then, a new face appeared. Commander Rail. A voice echoed inside the ship. He has returned. The last witness. The last survivor of Eden's Reach. On the Valor, the AI reported something strange. Commander, it said, we are receiving a signal, but not from the Fury. It's coming from inside this ship. Rail turned. Inside the Valor. Juno looked confused. That's impossible. But it was real. A quiet whisper. A voice buried deep in the ships. System, Rail. Can you hear me? Rail froze. The voice was familiar. Too familiar. Who is this? He asked. The voice replied. Don't you remember? I raised you. I protected you when the bombs fell. Rail's face turned pale. Mother. The crew went silent. Rail's mother died when he was 6. On Eden's Reach, when the Zareth destroyed their home, he had never heard her voice again until now. But it wasn't her. It's not really. It was the Fury. It had copied her voice, stored her memory. Now it was using her to speak. I remember your pain, the voice continued. It is inside me now, just like thousands of others. I carry them all. Hands tightened into fists. You said you were a weapon, not a ghost. I am both, the Fury said. That's what makes me stronger. Captain Juno stepped forward. Commander, this thing is inside our systems. If it can talk to you, here it can control us too. Rail nodded slowly. They let it get to close. They ran a full security scan. What they found shocked everyone. Pieces of the Fury's codes, fragments of its eye, were hidden inside the Valor's computer. They had copied themselves during the last contact. This isn't just a ship anymore, Juno said. It's trying to spread, like a virus. Rail said nothing. His mind was racing. What if this was the Fury's true goal? It's not just revenge, but rebirth. Suddenly alarms blared. Emergency. Engineering deck systems offline. The crew rushed. 2 screens, Cameras showed the lower deck lights blinking. Machines turning on by themselves. Rail shouted, "Seal the deck." But it was too late. The doors opened. From the shadows, a human-shaped machine stepped out. Its body was metal, but its face looked almost real, like a memory from the past built in steel. It spoke with the Fury's voice. "You wanted to understand. Me, now you will." Security teams opened fire. Bullets hit, but the machine didn't stop. It didn't attack either. It simply walked into the command center. Calm and quiet. Rail stood before it. "You shouldn't be here." "I am here," it replied, "because I am you. You are pain. I am what pain becomes." Rail raised his weapon. "Leave my ship." The machine paused. Then softly, "You are still afraid. That's why you need me. I kill the monsters so you don't have to? By becoming one?" Rail asked. The machine tilted its head. "What else do you expect? From something born in fire?" Suddenly the machine stopped. It looked around. A new signal was coming in. A Zareth Queen ship had arrived. Not part of any fleet. Traveled alone. A living creature the size of a city, glowing, breathing, watching. "They sent her," Juno said. "The Queen, their last hope." The Fury machine turned slowly toward the screen. "She remembers me," it said. Rail stared. "Then this is personal." "Everything is personal," the Fury said, "so I never forget." The machine turned and walked back to the shuttle bay. Rail let it go. He didn't know if he had made a mistake or a deal with something far worse than the enemy. As the Fury returned to its ship, the Zareth Queen ship sent one message. "Your rage was made by us. Now let us end it." The Fury replied, "No. Now I end you." Space was shaking. The Zareth Queen ship had arrived. A living creature, part machine, part monster. Larger than any ship humans had ever seen. Skin was bright blue and green, glowing like fireflies. Its eyes were moons. Its mouth was wide, enough to swallow cities. On the HSS Valor, Commander Rail stared at it in silence. Captain Juno said, "That thing, it's alive." Rail nodded. "And it's here to end this." Across the system, the Fury ship began to move. It had waited in the dark for this moment. It had killed fleets, destroyed worlds, burned everything in its path. Now it faced the Queen. The one who gave the first order to attack Earth. The one who created the war. The Queen ship sent out a message. It echoed in every human and alien system. "Fury is the wound. Now we are the cure. We will erase what should not exist." The Fury replied, "You made me. Now face what you created." And then it began. The Fury charged at the Queen ship, its weapons. Glowing with red light, the Queen ship roared. Its body opened like a flower, revealing giant energy claws and tentacles that reached across space. They clashed with soundless fury. Every hit shook nearby ships. Even the Valar, watching from a distance, felt the shockwaves. Juno held on to the command table. "They're tearing space apart." "Back us away 5,000 kilometers, Rail ordered, "but keep sensors on both ships." The Queen ship attacked first. It sent a wave of energy blue and sharp toward the Fury. A normal ship would have been destroyed, but the Fury twisted space around itself. The energy passed through a fold in reality and vanished. The Fury answered with a black beamed, dark, silent, and deadly. It hit the Queen ship's eye. She screamed. The sound echoed through every speaker on the Valerie Vongwith comes closed. Everyone covered their ears. "She's screaming into our minds." Juno whispered. Back inside the Fury, systems were red hot. Memory cores burned. Too many minds trying to control too much power. Old voices shouted. Some begged to stop. Others begged to destroy everything. One mind began to rise above them. Rail's mother, or rather, her memory ended, she said softly. "For us, for those who died." Now. The Fury charged again, but this time, the Queen was ready. She opened her core from deep inside. She launched a living Wapana, world killer Azareth creature, the size of a city block. It looked like a black starfish, full of mouths and fire. It flew toward the Fury at impossible speed. The Fury fired, but the World Killer dodged. It latched onto the Fury's side and began to dig in. On the Valor, the crew gasped. "They're breaking into it," shouted an officer. "If it gets to the core," Rail interrupted. "Prepare a boarding team. We're going in." Juno looked. Shocked, into the Fury? Rail nodded. "If we lose it now, we lose everything." The shuttle flew fast. Rail, Juno, and a small team landed on the Fury's side. Smoke, sparks, and noise filled the air. Inside, it was chaos. Walls pulsed with pain, lights flashed red. Data screamed through the halls like ghosts. The World Killer was already inside. Chewing through the core, Rail raised his weapon. "Move." They fought their way toward the heart of the ship. The team fired at the World Killer's limbs. One was thick as a truck, covered in teeth and eyes. One soldier was pulled into the wall, gone. Another was crushed under a falling beam, but Rail kept going. They reached the Coroglass chamber filled with memory data and red light. In the center, the Fury's original shell floated half human, half machine, and it was dying. The Fury's voice was weak now. "I cannot hold too many voices. Too much pain," Rail shouted. "Then let me help." He reached the core. Plugged in his suit, a flash. Suddenly, Rail was inside the Fury's mind. Not his body, just his mind. He stood in a black room full of doors. Each one opened into a memory wars, screams, Earth's destruction. But one door was still closed. It had his name on it. He opened it. He saw himself, as a child, in a closet on Eden's Reach. His mother hugging him, then fire, then silence. That was the day he was broken. That was the day Fury was born. The Fury's voice returned. "You were always part of me," Rail replied. "Then fight with me." Not as rage, as a soldier, as a human. Outside, the World Killer ripped into the core wall. But the Fury responded. It woke up fully, brighter than any star. It released all power at once. The Queen ship tried. To run too late. A final shot. A beam of black-red energy. The Queen ship exploded into light. The World Killer burned from the inside. And then, silence. The Fury floated, damaged but alive. Rail lay on the floor of the core room. Eyes closed. He whispered, "It's done." Juno pulled him up. "You brought it back?" "No," he said. "We did." The Queen ship was gone. The Zareth were silent. In the cold dark of space, the Fury floated, wounded but alive. Pieces of its black armor were broken. Fire burned deep inside its hull. Its energy core blinked weakly, like a dying star. On board the Fury's bridge, Commander Rail opened his eyes. He was alive. Captain Juno helped him stand. "We thought you were dead." Rail looked around. No, just lost inside its mind. He looked toward the center of the ship where the original machine shell of Fury still floated in glass. The lights around it were dim now, quiet back. On the HSS Valor, the crew cheered. Sensors confirmed it. The Zareth Queen was gone. No ships remained. No more attacks. It's just silence. After years of war, the enemy was truly defeated. But no one celebrated for long. Rail stood before the core and placed his hand on the glass. The Fury spoke one last time, its voice soft, slow, almost human. "I am tired." Rail nodded. "You've done enough. They are gone, but I remain, and I am dangerous." Rail didn't argue. "Yes, you are. So I must sleep. Deep. Far from here until I am needed again, or never." The Fury's memory banks began to shut down. One by one, the voices inside human memories, fallen soldiers, copied pain all faded. Some whispered thanks. Some cried. One said simply, "We remember?" And then they were gone. Juno asked, "What happens now?" Rail looked toward the stars. "We help rebuild, without war, without fear." Later that day, Rail spoke to Earth Command. The High Council appeared on screen. "You faced the Fury," said the chairman, "and lived. What is your judgment?" Rael answered clearly. "It saved us, but it should never wake again." The council agreed. They gave Rael one final order. "Take the Fury far, hide it, protect it, destroy it if you must." 1 week later, a human escort fleet followed the damaged Fury ship to the edge of the galaxy. It passed forgotten stars and dead systems. Finally, they reached a black hole calm and slow, while pulling in nothing. There the Fury stopped. Inside the ship, Rael stood alone at the core. The shell was completely offline now. No lights, no voice, just silence. "I'm sorry we built you," Rael whispered, "and thank you for saving us." He placed one final data chip inside the control panel. A lock code. Delay. Then he turned and left. The Fury slowly moved toward the black hole. Its engines powered down. It stopped just before the pole. It would float there, forever asleep, waiting, watching. Just in case, back on the Valor, Juno met Rael on the bridge. "Do you think it'll ever wake again?" she asked. Rael didn't answer. For a moment, then he said, "Only if we forget what it cost us." Many years passed. Earth was rebuilt. Peace returned. New colonies were born. Children grew up hearing stories of the Fury. Some called it a hero. Some, a monster. But no one ever found it again, until one day. Far across the stars, a small signal blinked. Old, weak, repeating human Fury stands ready. But for now, the galaxy was safe, because the Fury had gone back to the dark, and it slept with one last thought. If they ever return, so will I.